Seek first the kingdom. A reflection for the 17th Sunday in Ordinary Time. In today's first reading, we meet Solomon, the son of King David and his most famous wife, Bathsheba. Important to note, the unnamed child that resulted from David and Bathsheba's adulterous encounter did not live. Solomon came along in good time once David married Bathsheba after the death of her first husband Uriah the Hittite in battle. During his lifetime, David married several women, as was the custom, mostly to secure political advantage, and he ended up with many sons. Contrary to expectations, and at Bathsheba's persistent urging, David chose Solomon to succeed him. A handful of key players supported this decision. Others, including older sons more obviously suited to the kingly role, opposed it. Thus, the long tale of Solomon's ascent to the kingship features enough intrigue and bloodshed to fill a season of Game of Thrones. Even on his deathbed, David handed over to Solomon a few last scores to settle. By the time of today's episode, Solomon has proved both shrewd and decisive, dealing with his father's enemies and his own, and grasping the power of David's throne with a firm hand. Deep down, Solomon knows he sits on David's throne without David's gifts. Neither soldier nor singer, he cannot command the devotion that David did. But he also knows that David could not have led the people so well or so long without the help of the Lord. This help he now seeks as he journeys to the highest of high places and offers lavish sacrifice, 1,000 holocausts to God. It is after this act of devotion that the Lord appears to Solomon in a dream and says, "Ask something of me, and I will give it to you." With power in his hand and the Lord's favor for the asking, young Solomon resists the temptation to secure his fortunes. Instead, he answers, "Give your servant an understanding heart to judge your people and distinguish right from wrong." In literal translation, the Hebrew means a hearing heart. Thus, Solomon asks for a combination of clear perception and empathy, so that the choices that he makes in governing the vast people of God will be both wise and just. The Lord affirms and grants Solomon's request, making him wise well beyond his years and blessing him with much more besides, with the long life and wealth that he might easily have asked for in the first place, but set aside in favor of an understanding heart. In a fitting response to Solomon's choice, Psalm 119 calls the guidance of the Lord, words, law, commands, more precious than wealth. The last verse declares, "The revelation of your words sheds light, giving understanding to the simple." Solomon's willingness to set aside royal perks and pursue instead what he needs to govern the people according to God's purpose connects his story to the parables in today's gospel. Jesus compares God's reign to a treasure in a field and a pearl of great price. In each instance, the one who finds it gives up everything else to attain it, making this risky decision in joy, not fear. St. Paul offers reassurance that all things work together for good for those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. We too can afford to put all that we have on the line in pursuit of God's dream for us and for our world. Loving God and listening for the call, the command, the guidance of the Lord will keep us aligned with God's purpose, which will always lead to the best for us. Amen.